Hello and welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is Bree, and if we have not connected before, I'm an intuitive channel and I love to work with astrology and channel moon energy. And in particular, I like to look at how the astrology or the energy that we're feeling is most meaningful to you in your everyday life and the how you can work with these energies and also validate things for you if you're feeling a certain way. Astrology is a little crunchy. It can just be like really reassuring to know that there are other things at play as well. So I am going to tap into a little bit of the just the astrology in general that is occurring right now, and then I will pull some cards from my Crossroads Oracle deck and bring through an intuitive message for the collective. But first, let's get started with this moon. It's a blue moon, which is really exciting. Blue moons, I'm sure we know all the expression, once in a blue moon. Blue moons mean that there are two full moons in a calendar month. Um, and this particular month was really beautiful. It was the 1st of May and then the last day of May, which is the 31st. So it's almost kind of like bookends, like a portal of energy throughout the month of May. And it's really interesting because the month of May in general, astrology is pretty quiet. And so it's been this like beautiful start to spring. I'm here in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm in Ontario. And so May has just felt really gentle. It's like a really gentle kind of like ease into the summer, very spring energy. And so Blue Moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is some of my favorite energy. My personal moon sign is in Sagittarius. And I have a lot of planets in Sagittarius. I have a Sagittarius stellium. So I love Sagittarius energy. It just lights me up. It's a fire sign. And I love to describe how Sagittarius energy feels. It's if you look at the season of Sagittarius, it's leading up to Christmas, kind of like end of November into December. And it's like, think of that energy. It's fun, it's go, 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 it's busy, it's just a very like just beautiful feeling energy. Sagittarius is the adventurer. Some of the archetypes are, the adventurer, the scholars, but like higher learning. There can be like a religious aspect in there too, so like spirituality, higher learning, that kind of energy. And this moon sitting here is really just, I think, so beautiful for some of the astrology we have coming up later this year. But overall, like the energy that I'm feeling is just like expansion and freedom. Sagittarius loves freedom. It's just a very like, travel, expansion, freedom, higher thinking kind of sign. And that's really the energy that's here. And so, when you really feel into the energy, like all across astrologically right now, the message I'm hearing is like, what story am I ready to outgrow? And this has really been coming up for me in my own personal life too, which is very interesting. But you may have been finding yourself questioning like long held beliefs about something, old identities, future plans you had for yourself, relationships. How do you define success? What does it mean to be successful for you? Um, one for me that's been coming a lot is like, what did you think was going to make you happy? Like, what was your plan in your mind of like, ah, yes, like this is what I thought would make me happy. If you're a TikToker, there's a trend going around on TikTok right now where people are posting, what they thought was going to be their happily ever after. And then, like what ended up shifting for them. And I think that's so interesting that this trend is happening. And this is very much the energy that is happening right now. Because there's this sense, I'm getting this image of like, you're standing at like a precipice and there's this huge horizon in front of you. And if anyone's ever seen the movie Hercules, the Disney movie, I'm literally picturing when he's doing like his hero song, it's like standing on the cliff and there's like the whole world in front of him. That's the feeling that's coming through. And it's this realization that like, oh, there's so many more possibilities available here than I ever thought was possible. Um, and so it's kind of like, and it doesn't mean that like you need to like turn your entire life upside down or anything like that. But it's just this idea of like, contemplating these things. Like, what makes you happy? What is success for you? Like, what were your plans for the future? Have they changed? Right. So there is like a restlessness here. Sagittarius, as like an energy, does not like to be confined. They love freedom. And so you may be feeling this like a desire for change, or even like I personally have been feeling like the rumblings of change. Like I don't know what it is yet, but there's this feeling of like almost like unrest coming, like change is coming. And I've been getting a lot of signs just in my own personal life of like change is coming. Um, you may be feeling like a desire for adventure. You got like you're craving a trip, and like you're like, oh, I need to go somewhere, like plan a road trip. Um, and on the opposite side of that, you may be feeling frustrated with anything that feels stagnant in your life right now. Um, those like old routines and patterns, you might be feeling like you want to switch it up. And then with Sagittarius energy as well, like you also may be feeling this need for like greater meaning in your life, or a bigger purpose, right? Again, it doesn't mean you have to burn anything down. It's just having awareness of like, where have you outgrown some situations? Like I'm getting the image of like that snake skin, right? Like you're confined and it's time to like outgrow that skin. And so it's like, where has your life become too small? Right? Like, where are you stagnating? Where are you feeling that desire for change or adventure or something new? Or, do you feel like moving? Do you feel like going on a trip? There's so many options here of what it might look like for you, but that's the energy here. What is also really fun about this energy, there is an aspect to Uranus happening here. So, Uranus is the planet of like sudden insights, unexpected things. So you may get some unexpected insights just sort of arriving. Something that may have been really confusing to you may suddenly just make sense. You may just notice your perspective changes, or there's conversations you weren't expecting that happen, lots of synchronicities, new opportunities, all of those sorts of things may just come into your world. And it's less the energy of like completely unexpected, you didn't see it coming at all. And it's more like this thing has been there all along and you're receiving new information about it. And so there is a really strong energy also happening here of being able to bring your vision and dreams into reality. So moving from like dreaming to actually creating, or like hoping something's going to happen to committing for it to happen. And, less like waiting around for something to occur and then just like starting it. Right. So it's not just like, what do you dream about? What do you want your dream life to be? And instead, it's also asking yourself, okay, dream the dream, but then what are you willing to do to bring it into the world, to bring it to life, to create it? Okay. Of course, there is light and shadow to all things. So, with this transit, do check yourself for any like impulsive decision making. As much as I love Sagittarius energy, there can be a bit of impulsivity there. Um, you know, watch that you're not feeling this need to like have all the answers immediately. Chasing the next shiny thing, right? Like I'm ADHD on a good day. Like, but it's like, can you also have that commitment, that dedication to something instead of just being like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm gonna bounce over here. I'm gonna go do this thing. And like, I am also, this message is for me as well. Like, I also am bad for this. There is an energy here of like, are you avoiding discomfort by just seeking out what's next? Because bringing things into the world, it can be hard. It requires work and dedication. And so there is a balance there, right? Of it can be really fun to like get that dopamine hit and just, run off to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and just have all these great ideas and not actually see them through. Um, and there is like an escapism there too. And there's that balance between like freedom and escape, right? Freedom is amazing, but are you just, what are you running from? Right. Um, I'm hearing the message that like not every urge to leave is a calling. Okay. Like there can be an element here of like spiritual bypassing of like, oh, like I just got like a hit of intuition. I need to like quit my job and leave my boyfriend and move across the country. And maybe that is entirely in alignment for you. However, just make sure that you're, really sitting with the energy and, having that awareness of like, is it just because it's hard right now? Or, do you need to change your perspective? Like sometimes freedom comes from changing your perspective or your mindset around something rather than changing your actual physical circumstances. And again, believe me, as a Sagittarius moon, I am all for, I think I've moved more in my like 37 years than most people have in multiple lifetimes. I love moving. I love change. I love traveling. I'm the first one to be like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's do it. Or let's start something new. However, it's also important to kind of check yourself. Are we escaping? Are we bypassing? Okay. So, you know, instead of sitting in the energy of like, okay, what's next? Like, what are we doing next? Try and sit with the energy of what feels more true or what is calling to me deeper than it did 6 months ago. Okay. So like if you look back to your life 6 months ago and then look at your life now, like what feels more in alignment for you? And look at all of the different areas of your life with that kind of mindset. This moon is really about like expanding your perspective, releasing any limiting beliefs, like reconnecting with your purpose. Like, why are you here? What do you want to be doing? What lights you up? Okay. And again, not from a like, what do we do next? Like, give me something new. It's like, what lights you up or what is calling to you that may have been calling to you for a while. Okay. Like, it might actually be that same thing that's been in your world this entire time. I feel like I'm calling myself out here, but like my deck, I'm still not done my guidebook. I still haven't sent it off to the printer. This deck came into my world, I think in September of last year. And I'm also the worst for this, right? Of being like, okay, like what's next? That was fun. What's next? What am I working on now? Instead of just finishing it, sending it off to the printer and releasing it. So this is very much the energy that's coming through right now. So overall, like just when you reflect on the energy that you're feeling here, it's a couple of things. So, what beliefs are you outgrowing? What beliefs or conditioning have you inherited from your family of origin? From, like versions of you that are no longer in alignment with where you're moving to. What limiting beliefs can you release right now? Okay, so there's that one. Where are you playing small? Okay, where are you still playing small in your world? And, your soul, like what is your soul calling you to do? And then from there, it's like, what keeps returning to your awareness? What keeps nagging you? Is it a podcast? Is it a book? Is it a card deck like me? What is it? What is it that keeps coming to you? And something else to ask yourself that's kind of been coming into my world lately as well is if you're stuck and you're not sure like what decision to make, it's like, what would you choose if fear wasn't making the decision? So if fear had nothing to do with it and, your success was inevitable, as my mentor, Christy, often says, your success is inevitable. What would you decide? You cannot fail. different, right? And then, again, it's like what horizon's calling you forward? Like what new direction are you feeling pulled to? And it doesn't mean that we light everything on fire and walk away into the sunset. And, if anyone's seen Dutton Ranch, like picturing. Anyways, it's like it's not that energy. It's not all being burned to the ground and we're like moving onwards. It's, you can still bring your wagon with you. You can still bring all of your things, but is there a new horizon that's calling you forward? Okay. So overall, like this really just feels like it's like new horizons, which is very Sagittarius energy, right? It's adventure, it's freedom. Um, but it's also like it's not a beginning and it's not an ending. Okay. It's not like eclipse, burn it down, start. It's not that at all. And it's not like a brand new beginning. It's just kind of like we're here in the middle and all of a sudden like the landscape just opened. And you're like, oh, it's like we came around the corner in the path and went like, okay, there's a lot more options here than I thought I thought was available. Right. So just things to kind of keep in mind while you're, working with this energy, while you're feeling it right now. Okay. It's just a very, yeah, it's a very different energy right now. Okay. So let us pull some cards from my Crossroads Oracle deck and we will see what wants to come through. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so I actually had this card out earlier, and I was gonna leave it out. I was like, oh, I should put it in the deck and shuffle it, just so that if it wants to come through, it will. And of course, here it is. So, okay, I love this card. This card is. Let me see if this will pick it up. So this is the thread. And I don't know if it is picking it up at all, but the thread is like, I'm just going to put it here so I can look at it. So it's part of the keys. And it is a card of like, okay, like I'm going to put it in the, in the write up so you can see it. But there's all these little gold as like orbs kind of, and I just see it as this beautiful like we're all so connected energy, right? And it's like I'll put it down now so I can look at it too. Along the bottom it says like connection, destiny, and weaving. And to me it's this idea of like we're all so connected, but there's like limitless possibilities. Okay. And it's just like the one in the middle is just really drawing my attention. And it's like all of these like just like these like little shimmering threads of fate are just like everywhere. And it's all these like moments and choices and connections and like everything, every choice you've ever made in your life, every path you've ever chosen is connected and it's all part of the tapestry that you're weaving. I think I've talked about tapestries before in some of my other readings. It's an imagery I love to work with, but it's that whole idea that like all of these little shimmering orbs of thread, you're just like plucking it and weaving it into your tapestry and plucking it and weaving it in. And it's this whole idea that like destiny isn't like fixed. Like we have free will. It's like a living tapestry that like every choice you're making is changing the pattern as you move through your life. And every choice that we make, like the ripple effect is huge on everyone else's threads. Like you choose a thread and that ripples and like affects someone else's thread that they pull. And it's just this beautiful idea. And so, sorry, I'm like super sidetracked here. When this card is coming through here, this card is also very connected to your purpose. And so that is very much an energy that I was feeling with this moon. Um, and the idea that I'm sort of seeing it, and like, I'm not a weaver. I should like clarify if anyone is a weaver and I'm like butchering these terms. I apologize. But it's also the idea that like as you're weaving and like you start to run out of a thread, right? Or you're sewing and like you're getting to the end of your thread, it's like you need to let it go and pick up a new thread. So it's like, what threads have you outgrown? Are there knots in your thread that are making it really hard to work with it? Is it fraying? Is it not a color you want anymore? Like look at all of these aspects of all of the threads or the things in your life, the people, the places, the connections, everything. And be like, and really take a look at it and recognize like, is this something that I want? Right. And like moving forward, how can you choose these threads? How can you weave the tapestry of your life with greater intention? Right. Like, what are you calling forward? And what threads are you consciously choosing to weave into this tapestry? And, is it serving you? And yeah, I think this is just a really beautiful analogy for a lot of this energy with this moon because like there's limitless options. And they kind of remind me of like stars in the sky. There's like, an infinite number of options of threads available to you. And it's kind of like we're having this like awareness with this moon that there's like it's limitless. There's so many you are the one and you're the weaver. Like you're in control of weaving the tapestry of your life and like what threads are you choosing right now and which ones are you holding onto a little too tightly that are maybe like warping your tapestry. So that's card one. Let's see. Let's see which card wants to come in next. Ooh, okay. So also from the keys suit, so we have the lantern. So, all right. So the lantern is, I'm like losing light in here. So hopefully you guys can still see me. It's like the glare is hitting my cards. Um, but okay, so the lantern is really about like guidance, faith, and illumination, is what it says on the bottom of the card. And so when I feel into this energy here, it's like, we're carrying the light through the darkness. Okay. Um, but we're doing it not to like banish the shadow. We're doing it to help you walk within the shadow. Okay. And so it's interesting that this card is like coming right after the thread because it's really a card of like, it's only illuminating what you need to see right now. Right. When you're carrying a lantern in the dark or like a flashlight, like you don't see everything. You just see the path that's right in front of you. And so it's just like it's the light, like the light is meeting you step by step. As you take a step, the light is illuminating your path. And so you need to trust that your inner light or that like that knowing you carry within you is enough to reveal what's coming next. And as you walk, as you move forward, it's there and like you're moving in the right direction, right? And like it can be really challenging with this energy because it takes a lot of faith, right? And it takes a lot of knowing that like you're being guided and it's okay. Like you're going to like the path is going to be there. Okay. And so this energy is very much about, where are you being guided next, right? Like, where do you feel that pull? Um, because again, like if you're walking in the dark, you can't see the whole path in front of you. You just are kind of, you're like, I think this is a path. Like, you ever been camping and you're like, I have a flashlight in the woods. It's like, I'm pretty sure this is the path. Let's just like keep going. I think I can see where I'm going. We'll figure it out, right? Like we'll find the tent. And so like that's the energy here of like, yes, we may be seeing this entire horizon opening up in front of us and, seeing all of the options available to us. However, we also need to recognize that right now we are just taking one step at a time and only seeing the path as it slowly unfolds. So it's like, in the back of your mind, it's like knowing that, again, it's like if we use the camping analogy, like, yes, you have the entire forest available to you. But it's also dark right now. And so we're just like taking one step at a time. Right. And this is not coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of like acceptance. And, you're kind of, there's this energy of like accepting the shadow, accepting the darkness. Right. And so like being okay with where you are right now, and recognizing like there are there are things that may need to change and you're going to take those steps to get there. But again, this entire transit is not like a burn it to the ground, let's overhaul our life energy. It's just like, huh, okay, like I maybe don't like that, or like this isn't working for me, or but it's this energy of like, it's like a faithfulness, right? Like companionship, that this guidance that the lantern card brings forward is like, I mean, think of your experience walking through the woods with a lantern versus without one. Significantly more enjoyable with the lantern. You're like, oh, thank goodness I have you. Like, this is so good. I'm so grateful for this lantern. That's the energy behind it, right? It's an energy of just like of trust, and just like there's like a gentleness to it as well. It's just like this light that you're carrying through the darkness. And yeah, it's just like a very like gentle energy to it. Okay, let's pull one more here and see what else is gonna come through. Oh, when I have a whole chunk of them fall together, I just reshuffle. If it's one jumper, it's fine. Otherwise, there's like five cards that come out at once. We'll just reshuffle. And 90% of the time, yeah, there we go. It just flipped. I was going to say 90% of the time, the same card comes out again. So, okay, what is this one? Definitely getting dark in here. The coin. Okay, so value, choice, and exchange. Interesting. This is also a keys. Okay, so I do shuffle. I swear. This one is the same suit. So we have three keys. Like I feel like that in of itself is very interesting. It'd be like in tarot if you pulled like, three of the same suit. You kind of pay attention to that, right? The keys are like the I call them the keys of passage, but they're like tools of transformation. Okay. So like they're invitations to act or like participate and to change your life or change anything. It's like they're tools for you. Like you have the tools to, to build or change or do whatever you want to do. Okay. And so like I find it so interesting that all three of these cards are the same suit. They're keys. Okay. I do think that there's something to that. But let's take a look at the coin. So the coin is about like it's choice, actually. That's really interesting. So the coin is really about like ultimately it's like what do you value? Right? Think of like a literal coin. Like what do you value? What's important to you? What do you because this card really came to me with the whole idea of um, money in general only exists because we attach value to it, right? Like currency exists because we decided somewhere along the way, like, oh, yes, like I don't have any money in front of me right now, but like this coin represents this amount and you need this amount of coin to get this item, right? It's just value, it's the alchemy of value. And so the moment you recognize your energy, your time, your presence is currency, that moment is when everything shifts, right? Like your time, your energy is a currency. Okay. So this card is kind of coming forward when there's a choice here. And it's like, what will you invest in? Like what returns nourishment to you? What do you get value out of? What depletes it? Right? Like what is sucking your energy that doesn't feel reciprocal? This card is very much about exchange. Okay. And like ensuring that things are equal and, reminding you that your your value. What is your value? Because that is a currency, and that exchange needs to be equal. Whether, you are undervaluing yourself, there's that like scarcity mindset, um, or spending like your energy, like your time, your devotion where it's not being honored or returned. Um, and so it's this reminder that like abundance and prosperity like cannot grow if you're not choosing yourself first. Okay. Um, so this card is really like a check-in of where does your energy flow the most free, right? Like where do you feel like when you feel into all the areas in your life where you spend your energy, like where does it feel the most expansive and free flowing? And like where does it feel heavy, exhausted, depleted? Okay. Um, and two, like this card can come forward when there's choice. So are we making a choice based out of what you value, or is it being made out of fear? Right. And these are all energies that have really been coming forward with this moon. Um, just kind of looking at the three of them together now, we have like the thread, like what threads are you choosing, in your life as you are like creating your world. And then we move into the lantern, and the lantern is like, even though you can't see the entire path, like you have to trust that you're moving in the right direction, and you don't need to see it all at once. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just have to like, that there's more there, but you just need to take one step in front of the other and trust that it's going to be illuminated as you move forward. And then the last card is, we just talked about, is about reciprocity and value. Like where do you place value? What are you valuing? Is it yourself? Because it should be. Or is yourself something that's really low down on the value list? Right. Um, and again, like where's that energy exchange? Um, yeah, it's like your energy is currency. Okay. And ultimately, like all three of these, the energy is very much like, and it's very empowering. Like the keys are cards of empowerment, of, like you have the tools to be able to change your own destiny, to change everything if you want to. Or like the flip side of that is to look at it and say, like, if you're not happy with your current situation or anything in your life, you created it to be like this. And so therefore you can create it to change. Um, so yeah, anyways, overall, overall, beautiful message, beautiful energy that's coming through. Um, it's just very much giving me energy of like you are the architect of your own life. You're the architect of your own future, the path you are walking. You just need to trust. You just need to also get very sort of like mindful of, what are you choosing to, and if the tapestry analogy doesn't work with you, think of it as like building a house. Like what materials are you choosing to build your house that is your world, right? And where are you spending your currency, your energy? Maybe it's a check-in for like legitimate currency, but it does feel very much like reciprocity. So anyways, I hope that this resonated and that it provides a bit of guidance for you. But I hope you have a wonderful full moon, and I will talk to you at the new moon in 2 weeks. Bye for now.